Hello everyone. This is another tutorial from the series of ChatGPT to solve civil engineering problem. In this problem, we're also discussing a fundamental problem which is called pendulum motion. This is actually in physics and also some other mechanical device. And it's obvious that we are familiar with the pendulum motion. And today we're going to ask ChatGPT or AI to give us what's pendulum motion, and then we will ask them to give us example in case if we have one pendulum which has a length of 1 meter, and here is a max. We're going to aim. It's a little bad. Aim, and so this is the vertical direction, and this is the fixed boundary condition. And the stiffness of this cable is actually negligible, it's very zero. And then we have the theta in case of particular problem. Then you must give that theta, which is going to displace the mass based on this theta, and then you will get the displacement of this pendulum. And also it generate in case there is no fraction in air, and then you will get movement or a free movement or motion. It's very popular in some watch or clock, and such kind of pendulum exists, and it's always freely moving because there's no fraction in air. So we go jump to the ChatGPT and copy, and here we're gonna paste, Control V and enter, and you will see that the information is quite wide, and it gives you pendulum motion refers to the movement of an object that's swinging back and forth around a fixed point due to the force of gravity. So the object in this motion is called a pendulum. A pendulum typically consists of a mass known as a ball or suspended from a fixed point by a rod or a string. So this is something, and then we have to give the motion pendulum follow some important principle. Let's go period, the time taking for one complete swing. We can also determine this one, and also we have amplitude, which is the displaced point from the gravity point, and also frequency of that pendulum. So now here is some definition you can read and understand. And now we are going to the second part of the question. We want to ask that ChatGPT to give us an example. Give an example of pendulum and determine the displacement of pendulum at time of 2 seconds when the length L equal m 1 meter and the m, which is equal mass, is 500 grams. So remember, the program will automatically understand in case previously you have given the pendulum. So, and also you can specify the theta, which is the displaced. Here you write in the program, surely consider an example of simple pendulum with a length of L 1 meter and a mass of 500 grams. We will determine the displacement of pendulum to a second after it is released from its initial position. So first we need to find the period of pendulum. So we will use this equation, T equal to 2p times the square root of L divided by G. So then we have the G is this one, and we have determined that T, the period is 2.006. Now that we have the period of the pendulum, we can find it is angular frequency. Now we're using this equation, and the good thing is the ChatGPT provide all the equation for you, and then you will get the natural frequency, the angular frequency 3.133 radian per second. And then now next let's find the angular displacement at pendulum of the pendulum at 2 seconds. Now we will determine this one, theta t, theta 0 is, which is the initial boundary condition, which is going to be 0, and a cosine theta, and then we will, where the theta is initial angular, then put it to 0, so this will be 0. And now the theta 2, theta at 2 second, so this will be almost 0 radian. So at 2 displacement, the pendulum is released, so that the angle is approximately 0 radian. So because of the mass of the pendulum and the length, so the displacement in this theta is almost 0. in case if you change it, let's change to 1 1 second or 1 second, and you can see some data. So in the 0 second is also actually is almost 0, which is in the release time. So I'm going to increase it to about let's 10 second. And yes, now here is you can see the displacement. If you come to here, that this theta, when it is the displacement from that point, from this point to the vertical point, is actually this region, approximately 60.15 degrees. So the displacement is that one. Now we're gonna ask the program or the ChatGPT to write an animation code and draw the displacement graph within at least 20 seconds. Use MATLAB. So in this case, if you have a MATLAB program, and ChatGPT can provide you a simple code to draw the animation and also draw the displacement graph. So we're gonna ask him write animation. Sure. Here is some information. Save this code in MATLAB and run the function, this one, or I can copy this one, and here is my MATLAB program is open. I'm gonna paste it and I'm gonna save it. So you should give a name, save, and then you can run here, or you can just press this command, and you can see here is the pendulum animation. So this is the point, which is 0, and the height is -1, which is hanging down, and the displacement is to this point, to this point. In case if we measure that the displacement here, then it will be -1, +1, or nay. Now here is about 0.5 m, 0.5 m, the positive and negative. But it will be, because there's no fraction, we didn't define a sort of damping fraction on the material or the cable, so it will be continued freely until we want to stop it. So now it's stop, and so we can stop it. Yeah, we stop, and now the program, after the because we need to keep it 20 seconds, we asked to give us the displacement graph within 20 seconds. So it will actually record until 20 seconds, and it will provide us a displacement curve for us. Now here is the displacement curve, which is 0.6 minus and positive, but it's using radian. So this is the graph. You can actually save this graph, and also you can change anything you want. And in case if you want to improve the MATLAB code, you can manipulate this code and using or changing the mass, and also changing the length of the string, or even you changing the theta. Also the time steps you can change. In case if you want to be faster, you can actually make it like 10 in case. And there is some other things. You can see the position in case it's okay. It's a fixed position, which is giving to draw the animation. And also you can change the grid if you want to change to the millimeter. These things also, and the program will do for you. Now this was a very important part of this ChatGPT. We can solve some much more advanced and also complex. So this is the end of the tutorial. If you have any question, please put in the comment, and I will find time to answer you. See you next time.